So San Diego Comic-Con is finally finished, and now we have a slew of new trailers. One of the biggest trailers comes from DC showing off Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice, with a full trailer coming out on YouTube soon after for the rest of us muggles. As a mild dabbler of DC comic books, I don't have the luxury of a decade's worth of knowledge about Batman and Superman lore, but what I do have is the skills to explain why Batman vs Superman will fail, until Warner Brothers in a few years decides to try again. Bearing in mind this is all for fun, and I really hope this film can live up to the fans' overwhelmingly high expectations, which is odd considering all we've had is one pretty lackluster installment, and a film that was so bad Ryan Reynolds makes pot shots at it from other movies. But who am I to judge? I'm just some guy with a copy of Paint and a microphone I stole from Best Buy. In Man of Steel, a lot of what audiences didn't like, other than constant shaky cam, was Superman's inability to save people, and complete willingness to give a cheeky neck snap from time to time. I feel that there's a real struggle when it comes to adapting these characters to the big screen, because how often they are subject to change when you look at their comic counterparts. This entitles the filmmakers to make changes to their characters at their own leisure, which is maybe the reason why we saw Batman kill not one, but two people, like when Batman gives a cheeky neck snap of his own here, and when the Batwing fires at a car, causing this man here to be engulfed by flame. Maybe the DC films are going for interpretations of these characters that are less opposed to killing, but this may not gel too well with fans of these characters. Many successful franchises have met their downfall at the hands of including too many heroes and or villains, such as Spider-Man, twice, Iron Man 2, Batman Forever, and Batman and Robin. While this could just be to do with shoddy filmmaking and poor creative choices, it doesn't really support my point, so I'll ignore that fact. In the trailer alone, I see a slew of complicated subplots and unresolved issues outside the Batman vs Superman storyline. This fight is compelling enough on its own and does not need to be bogged down with obligatory nods to other subplots and characters. Last time we saw this, it was called The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and look what happened there. This film is set to involve a lot of layers and complex story elements, something that could be done very well if given to the correct director. Zack Snyder is a visual director and is at his best when given a good script and straightforward story that he can add his visual flair to. Marvel, however, hired the best director and writer to tackle the complicated puzzle that is an Avengers film. But I really wonder, is Zack Snyder the best to be putting the complicated DC universe to screen? Yeah, I know this has been covered to death already, but apparently it's harder to find 5 new reasons as to why this film might fail, so I'm using it anyway. Batman is a man who strikes fear into the heart of his enemies. He's dark, he's brooding, and he's been called the most dangerous man on the planet. He is a man who has sacrificed everything in order to uphold his brand of justice. Even though in the original Batman, he totally straight up kills this guy. Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, whilst all heroic, aren't devastated and mopey like we see in these lifeless, colourless, brooding promotional photos we've been getting. Where's the colour? Oh, right. Ooh. A rather large and increasingly worrying issue to me is that this film could just end up being a total cocktease to get fans back in for 2017's Justice League. The title even makes reference to the fact that it's only the build-up and will likely be left unresolved, which, to bring The Amazing Spider-Man 2 back up again, is something that no franchise should do. Like ever. A piece of inside information from a year ago suggested that every DC property would leave each film with a literal cliffhanger to get audiences back for the next viewing. Personally, this is something I'm not a fan of, and it could potentially spell danger for this franchise already. Both Marvel and Sony have learnt their lessons about how to tackle a shared universe, and DC would be good to follow in these footsteps. Unresolved plot points are not good ways to get people back into seats. Small subtle conflicts or references are far more gratifying, as it helps to add layers to these characters and their world, and makes moviegoers feel smart for being able to spot the seeds of what is to come, like how Marvel has been building up to Civil War, which leads me to my secret number 6 reason. The rivalry between Iron Man and Captain America is something that Marvel has been working on since 2012, and is allowed to fester over time. These are two people that are really good mates, but ultimately have very different views and morals, and that's what tears them apart. Zack Snyder has seemingly been allowed to cherry-pick his favourite fights from the DC comics without any thought into the larger story. This leads to empty fights that are no better than me smashing my Batman and Superman toys together and going pew 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 pew. Good Batman and Superman stories set up they're neither right or wrong. In this recent trailer, I get the sense that they are both being manipulated to fight each other, and I'm just waiting for them to talk it out and be like, hey, wait a minute, has that creepy Zuckerberg looking dude in a wig been talking to you? These are smarter characters than that, so show them some respect, DC. Ultimately though, despite what I and others may say, this film is happening for better or worse. With almost the same writing team as Man of Steel, Warner Brothers clearly does not care greatly for this property, which means we'll keep getting the same haphazard attempts until something sticks. I get the feeling of if this fails, Warner Brothers will just reboot it in another 5 years anyway. Anyway, if you like or hated this video, maybe you'll like this one, where I talk about the 5 reasons why Batman and Superman will succeed, and maybe you'll come back next week and not hate me so much. Yay.